from the furnace? Why does the furnace seem to have a heat like no other? Where then, with what accordance, has the thing made that what's had in the furnace withstands what's elsewhere? Where then, when I saw the furnace, I felt its heat, now long from vision. I feel my thoughts are no longer close to what I was thinking when I felt it. That being, what then melts things? The feeling I had that the furnace provided? Then therein lies what will take my thoughts into the furnace. Then what's from the furnace is a feeling of it, though not the whole furnace until everything forged from it comes together. Whereas things then from the furnace impart a sense of where they are from, they fuel the forge, as then these things give greater power to its purpose by giving into its feeling. Where then do things come together to form the forge? Then is not the forge of what is not forged? Then what's from the forge goes to what isn't the forge, then being in the forge, as what's where the forge was forged? Then what's from the forge, forming it while in it? Then the forge seeks the forged, where the forge is the unforged, that while forged there is unforged. Then forgeries fight as to what is the unforged, being the forge, where, while in another forge, seeing only a forgery, unless becoming forged. Then what is the forge, if the unforged calls the forge forged? Though, as was not the unforged deemed as the forge? Then, as forges call things forged, what say they? But then, what is of another forge? For would not their own be unforged? Then though a forge calling something unforged, then though the unforged calling something unforged, then though the forged calling something forged, is then the forge recognizing itself? Then saying, though, it is of another? Then what is unforged, when the forge calls what it is not of its own, then making the unforged a forgery, that it can then be forged? Then the unforged calling something forged is calling it of its own, though isn't it unforged? Then what is unforged for this forge, if then what this forge says is no forgery? Then we might know this forge. Is then this forge to call all forges a forgery? Then this forge forging forgeries with every forge? Then calling forges then unforged? What then is forged in this forge, but the unforged? Then having no forge, as how could something have been forged if all forges are forgeries? Then this forge calling nothing the forge, when then is one in its forge, in feeling the forge, would it not then call it a forgery? Then as my thoughts get further away from feeling, am I then closer to this forge? Then what is forged with no feeling, making no feeling a forgery? Then this forge forging feeling, the further one gets away from it. Now then, as the feeling of this forge wanes, I then call it forged, that it can know the forge, that is to be far from it, that it can then call things forged, feeling no forge, which was the beginning of this forge.